there's a lot of emphasis on everything that needs to be done and a lot of misinformation out there with planting. So planting simplified is just like it says. It's a very simple process that we've implemented for some time now in vegetable gardening. And I'd like to be able to share some of that with you. So let me ask you this. What's your planting like in the spring of the year? Or do you wait till the spring of the year to get started? Or do you set it up the year before? We'll talk about that more later on. So, do you go through all the backbreaking work of the soil preparation and looking for all the soil amendments and getting that credit card out and buying those big carts full of soil and coming out and amending your soil? Or maybe you have a compost bin that you've worked on and you've got that compost bin going and you're out there turning that compost even in the wintertime, you know, when it's cold out and there's snow on the ground if you're in that type of climate. But you keep rotating that compost and then you load it in the wagon and then you haul it over and you mix it into your garden and then you do whatever you do to get it mixed in with the other soil and get what you feel is amended. And then when you think it's just right, you go your planting. How about if I could show you a real simple system that's sustainable for year to year to year, so that when the next year rolls around, you're ready to go. And basically you figure out what varieties you're going to plant. You already know what seeds you're going to plant. And you already have it in place where you're going to plant them. How would that make you feel? My name's Steve Sedera. I'm the founder of Tabletop Farmer. And for those of you that don't know me, I spent 40 years in regenerative growing systems on a large production scale. Here's a couple of photos from a few 24 hours ago. I started out at a really, really young age. I spent the last 8 years of taking those same systems and developed them into vegetable gardening. And this is my latest project called the River Sand Project. Now, my gardens are not all about being pretty, about being tidy and neat and all that. Yeah, that's a good thing to have. But my gardens are about testing. And I learned this from an old mentor of mine of about 30 years. I was out at his farm one day and I thought, God, what a mess, what a wreck. Those fields look like hell, but they're testing fields. And he's trying to test the worst case scenario. So sometimes when you see my garden, it's not going to be very pretty. This is about under 5 weeks of growth right now. And it's what I would consider to be pretty amazing. It's 3 years old. This regenerative raised bed is 2 years old. So we moved in here. You know, I always said that you could garden in the desert in Las Vegas. Well, I got my wish, kinda. It's not the desert, but it's river sand. It's pretty close to being the same type of, maybe not the heat as much, although last year we figured we were in a desert, but that's another deal. So with that, planting simplified. I want to help you to be able to grow the garden of your dreams and be able to do it so that you're set up for planting. So to take the backbreaking work out of soil prep, out of watering, out of everything you can think of, starting with planting simplified. So I'm gonna, in the next email, I'm gonna give you some steps. We'll start going through some steps how you can start to look at this in a whole different light, whole different aspect. And I want to help you to work on that. So with that, thank you for being a part of the Tabletop Farmer community, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.